I've shared a little on another video as I've addressed a counselor, a friend, a church member, a particular counselor, and how to help somebody struggling with fear. So I refer you to that in terms of a process of help. What I'd like to do now is continue on the topic of fear, but speaking to you as somebody fearing and being a child of Adam as I am, all of us on the spectrum of fear at some point and sometimes more intense than others. But I want to speak to you about ways of responding, how to think, some essential steps in honoring God and doing what is best for your soul. Okay. So I won't be speaking to you per se as a counselor, but a fellow struggler in the category of fear. And the way I want to do that is to start by showing you this tramway ticket. About 3 days ago in Kyiv, if you were sitting next to me on the tramway, you would have seen me take this ticket and turn it upside down so all you see is white. And then you would have seen me turn it back so that you actually see the printing on it. Now, this may seem a really strange way to start a discussion on fear, but I'm speaking personally, as I struggle with the theme of fear of man. And that was an example of how I tried to overcome a governing pattern for years and years and years by the application of the gospel in that particular situation on the tramway. And of course, people may view this video or consider what I'm saying and say it's really silly because turning this one way and then turning it back, what has that got to do with Jesus, the Bible, fear, our hearts? And I want to tell you that it had everything to do with all of that during that moment on the tramway. I had purchased a number of these tickets last visit, and I realized that it was a different series of tickets from the ones that I purchased recently. So here I had an older ticket, and when I got on, I punched it, and I looked at it, and the control lady was walking down the aisle of tramway, and I thought, I don't want her to see an older series and maybe start talking to me, and maybe that would result in a number of unpleasant things. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll turn it over, and she could see that it's punched, but I'm hiding the fact that it's a ticket from a previous series. I don't know Russian well. Could I communicate with her well? I remember when I was shopping with our cook in probably 2004, 2005 here in Kyiv, and we went to Eunice Market, and we got fined because of some problem on tramway not having an appropriate ticket. And of course, those memories, well, I don't want to get fined, I don't want to be in a situation where I can't communicate well, or I'm going to make mistakes. It's going to be awkward. And what governed was fear, and that manifested itself behaviorally by me turning the ticket around. Now, actually, I had a transaction with God from my heart, and as a result of that, I risked exposure of a previous series ticket, and I thought, no, I'm not going to live under enslaving fear, self-dependent, self-strategies, as Adam hid in the garden, and as we typically have masks and cover and hide. But I'm going to risk it to counter the previous patterns that had operated in my life for so long. What I like to do is speak about more of my experience in ways that I pray help you as you deal with fear situations. In Psalm 46 English, I'm going to read a couple verses and then ask a question that may seem really strange. Very common, first verse, God is our refuge and strength and ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, and follow the psalmist's thinking. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. Think about that for a minute. The curtain rises, and God is center stage. Our refuge, our strength, imminent help. He's present with us in any kind of trouble. Therefore, we will not fear. We will not defect to something created to replace him. The one who is the true refuge, the true strength, the true imminent help in trouble. We're not going to devise our own substitute. It says we will not fear, and then the psalmist pictures, and this is a very key ingredient that I offer to you from God's Word and that I try to practice. Here it is. The psalmist imagines what is impossible. What is impossible, and says, even to that degree of fear, I will not leave God through Jesus Christ. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way. Can the earth fall away under your feet and never exist? Mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Though the mountains fall into, is that possible? Well, not to the coming of Christ and the new creation, but as creation stands and is upheld by God, it's not possible. But he imagines what is not possible. Though the waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with surging. Imagine the greatest intensity of fear situation, and it's a worship issue. In this situation, no matter how great, I will not give way and replace Christ.
Your thoughts?